Here it is, and right over a mountain, absolutely in its, oh my good. And look at those buildings, which are in very close proximity, despite us being quite high. I don't have an idea why it took them so long to build a new airport. Now, all over the world, you can find defunct international airports. Yes, airports that were abandoned, closed because they sucked, probably. Yeah, all over the world, you can find little remains of them as well. This is, for example, the old Munich airport. You know, the old Munich Riem airport was way too close to the city. Small runway, dangerous, and had to be replaced with a big Munich International Airport. And loads of the time, cities and councils have good reason to make airport replacement. Yes, everybody, in today's video, we're going to talk about the top 5 airports, I think, where passengers can be glad that they're gone. Let's go ahead. Number 5, Pearls Airport. We are right here in the Caribbean, on the big island of Grenada. This airport was built in the Second World War and was closed in 1983. The oldest airport on this list. A year later, this airport was replaced by the bigger, by the way, something very mandatory, Point Salines International in 1984. And the reason why this airport closed can be quite obvious once you spawn in on the runway. And it's pretty cool to have the flight simulators for this kind of stuff, because we can travel back in time. Nowadays, the airport looks like this. We have some Antonov airplanes that were abandoned. The airstrip actually still is there. It's just an asphalt road that's used for drag racing, which is actually kind of cool. I might want to go there. Anyway, by the 80s, it was already quite clear that this airport wasn't going to be able to serve entire island. This runway is only 1,500 meters long, and it is surrounded by trees. And I mean, Caribbean is all about tourism, right? You kind of want to fly here, and there's no real way to expand the runway either. You'd have to strip down towns and houses. Loads of noise. Go and release the brakes here on this Airbus A320. Paul's described using this airport as a coastal road, and it kind of makes, oh my, we're very close to crashing into trees. And the A320 isn't like necessarily a big plane, especially for such a big island, the Grenada. Look at this, we are able to take off though. Somehow, oh, that was a tail strike. The terminal building obviously kind of sucked, and oh, this is kind of cute. Look what they added in. We have the abandoned airplanes. Now, overrunning probably isn't very fun here either. You have literally sea right there. Like, that is actually insane. Yep, this is what the runway used to look like. Now, obviously, propeller airplanes only operated here, because I mean, look at this. But I trust in the A320. We should be able to land here. Only this runway looks kind of surreal. Like, it's literally just between forests. All right, but I think we might be able to do a smooth landing on this very chopped runway. That looks quite broken asphalt. That's a lot of patches right there. There we go. That was a firm landing. Let's go ahead and stop now. Let's go full power. Yeah, look at this. This has somehow worked, everybody. Now, yes, this airport sucked, but the actual reason why this airport was closed was because the U.S. closed it when the U.S. Marines captured the Pearls Airport as part of the United States invasion of Grenada. So, this is Pearls Airport. Yeah, an interesting one where the runway is still kind of there. But let's talk about airports that completely vanished from the surface for good. Everybody, number 4, Hiroshima, which honestly also has a great earmark about U.S. military thing. Anyway, the modern Hiroshima airport is quite far away out of the city, but did you know that they had an airport right, and I mean literally right in the middle of the city, like right here? Yes, everybody. You know, I think it's interesting using Google Earth for this kind of purpose, where we can travel back to, like, what, 2008? Where you can still see a runway magically appearing. Everybody, the very poorly placed Hiroshima Nishi Airport, which is very interesting indeed. Let's spawn in. Now, this airport operated until relatively recently, 2010, for loads of obvious reasons. You know, this was obviously way too far in the middle of the city. Approaching the runway 22 was pretty insane for everyone involved, including the people that live in Hiroshima. I mean, look, in order to land, you sort of enter a pattern work. Down here is the runway, and we have to do like this circle around here because, well, there's terrain and there's a lot of city here, and especially by the time Hiroshima was growing vertically as a city with new buildings, taller buildings being built, that became increasingly annoying. You know. Now, interestingly, around here, no aviation disasters ever happened. After all, this runway is 1,800 meter long, but it was obviously meant as sort of a domestic airport. Kind of reminds me a bit of London City, really. The CRJ flew here, but like still, this is relatively adventurous, isn't it? Let's go ahead and come in for a landing now. And we're overshooting it. And we're too high. And we're too fast. This is actually pretty insane landing to do. I can't imagine what it's like to be a passenger here. Jeez. All right, there we go. But yeah, this look, we've got 4 Populites, after all, relatively modern airport. We're too fast. So let's go ahead and see if we can land here at all. Okay. Oh, you know what? You know what? I don't know. Something's wrong with the plane. It's not going. Oh, okay. No, this is fine. This has been a great landing. Let's move on because it's time to move up into the mountains. You know, I grew up watching clips like this from number 3, Tegucigalpa in Honduras. This is a 757 sportful plane, and that's definitely needed here. You can see the 757 come in for landing somehow. Yep, here it is, and right over a mountain, absolutely in its, oh my goodness, yep, that, no kidding, this is a real landing of a real airport, which genuinely was dangerous. First of all, the airport of Toncontin, as it was called, was right in the middle of the city. I mean, the Wikipedia article isn't very pretty about this airport. The airport received much notoriety as being one of the most dangerous airports in the world due to its proximity to mountainous terrain, its short runway, and its historically difficult approaches to runway 02. And yeah, I mean, look at this place. We're surrounded by terrain on both sides. We are genuinely in the middle of the city, and this is why this airport is, it's not actually closed. You know, in 2008, an A320 by the Takai Airlines overran the runway, which obviously due to the mountainous terrain was not a very pretty sight at all. So they started constructing a new airport. Now that one took a long time to open, and it was opened in 2019. It's called the Palmarola International Airport. As you can see, much better, much wide, like not mountains around. And by 2021, all the jet traffic was moved over there. Nowadays, turboprops still fly there. Nope, this airport is not closed, but it still lives on the flight simulator properly for jets because there even is a landing challenge there, which I'm gonna try to do now. How smooth can you land it? I mean, we're landing in a mountain bowl. Great. All right, there we go. So this is us coming in. The terrain radar is going a little crazy, that's for sure. The winds here is bad. You know, terrain is always bad for airplane because it creates very turbulent wind, and actually I cannot even see where the hell is the airport. To the left of us. Okay, yes, the problem is the new airport is quite far away, 50 kilometers, which is quite a long distance through the mountains, as you can probably imagine. So like air travel is very complicated here, and this is the only reason why the airport, which we were in the world, is that why this airport is even still open at all. Just getting there otherwise is pretty complicated. Oh, don't stall now. Where is the stupid airport? Oh, it's right there. Okay, this is genuinely how you approach it, by the way. Just like that 757. This is the runway. Okay, we are now looking high, but we can't get too close to the mountain. What in the world? Why didn't they actually place the runway the opposite? Probably there wasn't much space, but they should have like placed it like 90 degrees like that way, because then you have no turn. This is so crazy. All right, we're starting to look actually pretty all right. Let's try to put the airplane down to the numbers.
Retard. 5.
Oh yeah, that was pretty good. That was pretty all right. That was pretty all right. That was pretty all right. Okay, there you go. Let's stop. Let's stop this plane now. Yes, very good, very good, very good. Okay, so what's this gonna look like? Is this gonna be bad? Was it bad? Please don't be bad. Yeah, 1 million, everybody. There you go. They should keep this airport open. Moving on, and especially moving higher with number 2, the Mariscal Sucre International Airport in Ecuador, in the city of Quito. And when I say city of Quito, I mean it. Like, you can even see it on the map here. Now, right now, I've got live weather turned on. It sucks. Let's get on. Now, this is actually pretty an insane, very crazy look. Not good English. Now, this airport was closed in 2013 and it still shows up on Google Maps. It's turned into a park where half the runway has been deconstructed, and you can really see the gravity of the situation here. We're surrounded by mountains, but especially by city. And that's a bad recipe for bad things to happen. The airport was open in 1960, but it didn't take very long for things to start going wrong. Overruns. Though this is the longest runway, definitely on this list, 2,000 meters. It is also the tallest airport. We're at 9,000 feet. 9,000 feet. That is just insane. It doesn't really take a long time before you reach cruise altitude from here. But it takes a long runway to take off, though, because, you know, it is so high. We're so high up. Planes need a significantly longer runway. are at an extremely high elevation. We've got a bit of a runway slope going on. That means that we actually gain vertical speed just by rolling on that runway. But come on, you're a strong A320. You should be able to take... Yeah, that's fine. Come on, take off now. That is the longest takeoff roll I've ever seen on the A320. And I mean, look at this mountain there. You kind of don't want to hit it. Also, don't want to hit any of the buildings here. There was no runway safety area on either side, just city. Oh my god, there's even more city here. Yeah. Which is why in the mid-2000s they thought, hey, it might be a good idea to not have an airport in the middle of the city. Which is why they built the new Mariscal Sucre International Airport, which was open just a day after the old one was closed forever, which is probably a good thing again, because there are genuinely some airplanes that just can't fly here. This is the Cessna 152. It probably won't be able to fly, right? Let's go full power. Release the parking brake. I generally don't think we're able to take off. I mean, we've got a 2,000 meter long runway. I think we're going to crash into the city right behind it. Yeah. We are able to gain speed, though. Well, never mind. This plane flies extremely unhappily. Yeah, it kind of now decides to not want to fly anymore. Everybody, right in the middle of the city of Quito. There was once an airport that isn't there anymore, and everyone's glad about it. I mean, just imagine the noise as well, by the way. Talking about airports in the middle of this city that probably don't belong there, let's talk about one legend. Of course, it's got to be Kai-Tak. Known for interesting landing clips like this is an Alitalia MD-11, a hard-to-land airplane at the most hard-to-land airport. Look at this approach, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, lots of these landings were pretty hard. This is from another one, and yep, that's not even on the center line at all. That's not a good look. It's known for interesting pictures like this, right above the slums, just a 747 just casually flying by. Sometimes a 747 would go swimming a little bit, you know. I don't mind that at all. You know, Kai-Tak's malady wasn't really the runway that was too short or anything, but it was really the approach, because you couldn't really do it properly because there is a mountain here. Yeah, turned into quite a bit of a problem because runway 13 was pretty much the most used runway here, and also the winds are not easy here because once again, mountains make very complicated winds, and so you couldn't fly straight in at all. In fact, you had to make a very drastic right turn here, right on final approach. You can actually see the approach guide lights here. Let's go ahead and do approach, you know. Now, the approach was done quite visually, probably also because autopilots were not, and still are not, trustable enough to be able to pull this off. This is the runway right here. We come in, we basically have to approach this hill right here, the famous checkerboard hill, and like I'm genuinely going to try to make like a nice landing, which can be a bit rough. I think it's interesting to fly into this airport at sort of like a dawn time or like dusk, because you can see the lighting situation better, which was very complicated. By the way, let's put the landing gear down. Once again, the mission is approach the checkerboard hill to magically see those lights appear. Please appear. Where are the lights? I think we have to turn right here. We have to turn right. Yeah, oh, I see him. Oh, yeah, okay, all right. Now, this could get really problematic when the weather was bad enough. There we go. This is the lights that I was talking about. I don't know whether they were not running previously. All right, this is the lights. I got the lights in sight. There we go. Now we're doing a right turn. And look at those buildings, which are in very close proximity, despite us being quite high. I don't have an idea why it took them so long to build a new airport. Anyway, do it. And you immediately when you land, you're faced with a Coca-Cola ad, which is kind of funny. Anyway, let's try to do a nice landing out here. Yeah, we're looking good because the weather is not shit. Yes, look at this. I'm even able to land this in outside view, but we're not in like a huge airliner either, so that's not necessarily hard to pull off. There we go. We have done it, everybody. Kai-Tak. Sometimes I wish, though, I would have been able to fly into this airport, like as a passenger. You know, that would have been definitely a cool experience. You know, it's definitely irreversible, though. The airport has been turned into a port, sort of, for like cruise ships. Not very possible to build a new runway here. At the new airport, which replaced Kai-Tak, does a very good job as well. It was built here on an artificial island, and it's called Chek-Lap-Kok. So everybody, this is it. 5 airports that nervous flies can be glad about not existing anymore. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys tomorrow as always. Good night. The special thanks goes out to my members, my supporters, Guns Killer, R27, James Duram, That Dude, Anime Gods of Gaming, Derek, Insider Plane, Nishijitsu Finer, Professional Jamal, Ryland Williams, and New the York. You've got beautiful names.